Let's go next to Ed from New Hampshire. Ed, welcome. Are you living free or dying up there or what?
I am living free, Mr. Packman. Thank you. Let me just say thank you for having me on here. It's the first time caller.
My pleasure.
And I wanted to talk about firearms laws because I'm someone who is a fairly pro-gun person, but at the same time, I really, really hate the Republican Party.
Okay.
I grew up in a family that had people growing up within the homosexual community, and I'm sorry, but I grew up in a time when the Republican Party still does actively oppress homosexuals, and I can't support myself behind that party.
Okay. Now, wait, hold
However,
on. When you say you grew up in a homosexual community, what does that mean?
not a community. I mean, like a family. Like I have
Oh,
gay cousins and
oh,
things
I
like
got you.
that.
I got you. Okay. Okay. Okay.
All right. So, but at the same time, I have a hard time voting for the Democrats because of some of the things they put forward regarding gun control laws.
Okay.
And I'm someone who believes that there are some compromises both sides can make, but I actually believe that a lot of the proposals Democrats are making isn't isn't a good way to go across this, and it's not going to actually make these shootings stop. I actually think in some cases it may actually make them worse.
All right. Well, let's dig
Um,
into that. First of all, when I talk about gun violence, when I talk about quote shootings, I
mhm.
think there are three different types of shootings and each has to be dealt with separately. So there's firearms suicides, there's individual firearms homicides, and then you've got your mass shootings. Am I correct that today you want to talk about the mass shootings, right? You're not talking right now about gun suicides or the individual homicides.
Not. Well, yeah. Let's talk about the mass shootings, and
Fair.
because if there's one thing I hate about the right, it's the whole suicide mentality thing. Is that is one side about the pro gun control, the
Right.
pro gun side that I absolutely
We want to
despise.
reduce all three of these types of deaths, but right, the
hmm
solutions are different. You and I are going to talk about the mass shootings. Give me an example of something Democrats want to do that you think might actually make mass shootings worse.
For example, banning the AR-15, and when I say this, it's because of it has nothing to do with with like the magazine capacity or anything else. It's that the chances are is that the AR-15, believe it or not, is not all that high powered of a rifle. There are a lot of other high powered rifles out there in America that mimic everything the AR-15 does, but
Okay,
are
Ed, let me
chambered.
stop you there because I think this one we might be very easily able to resolve. The proposal I'm currently seeing would ban all assault style rifles, AR 15 being only one of them. If we said assault style rifles instead of just the AR 15, would that deal with the fact that there are AR 15 alternatives?
No, it's because there are plenty of other rifles out there that function exactly the same way as the AR-15, but are significantly older. We're talking about weapons that date back to the World War eras. And these are weapons that have been out there in civilian hands for decades.
Right, but the number of the World War II era guns that you're thinking of are number one, not being actively manufactured today, and number two, not nearly as widely available just by the sheer math of it,
oh,
right?
no, that is actually not true. There are millions and millions of World War II firearms out there, some of them even still being made today. One of them being the M1 carbine, which
Oh, so
is
you're not literally okay. So see, now I'm getting you're saying you're not literally saying units that have been around for 80 years. You're saying models that are being manufactured today but have been around a long time.
yes,
Oh,
the
okay.
same thing is true for the AR-15 itself. The AR-15 has been in civilian circulation since the 60s,
Right. But I don't know
and
that the fact that these have been around for a while means anything one way or the other. I'm not sure what's the point of that. What difference does that make?
well, the thing is that this mass shooting trend, the way it's been happening all around,
Yeah.
it's a fairly recent trend. I mean, this isn't to say that shootings didn't happen in the 60s. I mean, we all know Charles Whitman and everything like that. However, at the rate at what they're occurring nowadays,
Yep.
and the certain definitions that the GVA portrays as what is a mass shooting, which I think is a little problematic in and of itself because
Okay, but hold on. Now you're on to now you're talking about how you categorize. We're all over the place. Let me see if I can rein this in, okay?
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
When it comes to the guns, I'm with you that something has changed in American culture, right? There's a cultural issue where more people than ever see guns as a way to solve grievances that they have, either with individuals or with society. That's new, and I completely agree with you. But I also believe that if at this point in time, Americans are less able than ever to behave responsibly with firearms at a population level, that still means we've got to do something about the guns. Even if we grant that something about the culture has changed, where now we have so many more people willing to do gun violence, I would still want to deal with the guns and all of the other things as well. I would take an all of the above approach. Is that fair?
It is fair, yes. The problem, and again, and I love having this conversation with you. Let me just say that right now, because this is something that a lot of people on the right, a lot of pro-gun people don't do, and this is something that I'm trying to champion.
Sure.
I hang around with a lot of pro-gun people, and I try to get them to talk to progressive people, because believe it or not, there are a lot more progressive gun owners out there than people may realize.
There are, yeah. And listen, it's reasonable to me not to want only the right-wing nuts to have the guns. I mean, that makes sense. So let me just say this, because we don't have unlimited time. I am with you. No one provision will solve all the problems, right? Like if you just say banning the AR-15 won't solve the mass shooting problem, I'm with you. That won't solve the mass shooting problem. Restricting access to high capacity magazines alone won't solve the mass shooting problem, because someone can grab 4 handguns or whatever and go. Okay. So I'm with you 100%. My approach, and I don't want to do it now because I've done it so many times. I laid out a 10 or 12 point list of all the things that I would do on the gun side. And that doesn't mean we don't do mental health and we do everything. But I have 10 to 12 different things I would do, which I believe together would dramatically reduce mass shootings.
I have seen those points, and the one point, and most of the points I do agree on. The one point I have a problem on is when you say banning some guns. And that is the one area where I'm very hesitant about, because
should the average person be allowed to have a shoulder-mounted RPG?
Well, people do have RPGs.
Okay.
I know people that do.
I'm not saying that anecdotally you don't know people, but as a general thing, should an shoulder-mounted RPG be as widely available as a handgun?
I would say so, yes.
Okay. How about a Black Hawk helicopter?
A Black Hawk helicopter? Hell yeah, I would love to have one of those.
Okay. How about a howitzer? How about a howitzer? Should anyone be able to go and get a howitzer?
I know people that have howitzers, yes.
Okay, but that's not the question. Should anyone go and be able to get a howitzer?
Well, they can, though. That's the thing.
No, they can't. You can't go. I mean, listen, I'm not saying you might not be able to somehow obtain one, but a howitzer is not something you can just go to a gun store and order.
Well, that is true.
Right.
You can't
so
just
what?
go
And
to...
is that okay? Is that okay? That you can't. I mean, is your right to have whatever gun you want being restricted by the fact that you can't go to a gun store in New Hampshire and get a howitzer?
Well, that is the problem that I'm asking you is not so much whether or not it should be available for every gun store. It's just the fact whether or not they should be legally allowed to buy.
But what I'm asking you is, should you be able to go to a gun store and say, "Hi, one howitzer, please"? Do you believe that should be the law?
Depending on the type of store, I mean,
no,
sure,
but forget about the type of store. I'm talking
licensing.
about the person buying it. Should any person be able to own a howitzer?
Any person, based off of the way the Second Amendment is written, yeah.
Wow,
of course,
that's crazy. I've never heard anyone argue that before. Even Ben Shapiro didn't argue that.
It's a very weird. The laws in this country. The reason I say this is because I know people that legally have bought these things, and they are just private citizens.
Okay. So I'm not aware of that. So I can't really speak to it, but I'm going to have to research that. But Ed, listen, I got to run. I really appreciate the conversation.
Oh, this is definitely. I mean, I'd love to talk more with you, but my headset is actually running low on battery. So great timing. Thanks
Beautiful.
for having
All
me
right,
on here.
Ed, go recharge your Bluetooth. That interesting conversation. I mean, anyone can just go get a howitzer and a Black Hawk helicopter. That's crazy. Even the most fervent gun people, I've not heard say that. All right, everybody, that's it for today. We will take calls again. Let's take a very short break.